Good evening, Garnican. Yeah, I was impressed with how well Fourth Wall is with integrations. I don't know how much experience you have with Fourth Wall. I know Hoddle has been trying it, and I am incredibly impressed. Basically, Patreon was my alternative, and it was my first choice. But then I was just considering alternatives. Looked into Fourth Wall. Not only does it do everything I want it to do, it is programmatically able to do 10 times more than Patreon could ever do. And as you know, my back-end streaming is very complex, and so I'm able to use pretty much everything they're offering. No experience? Gotcha. I'm still on the fence about whether or not to become a Twitch affiliate again. Do you have any opinions on that? Would love to hear how you feel about Twitch ads specifically. Like, I am not a fan of ads, and by becoming a Twitch affiliate, ads become regular for the stream. By refusing to become a Twitch affiliate, advertisements do not appear whatsoever. So it's a give and take, because in theory I would be losing money that's on the table by not becoming an affiliate. I'm testing a couple new things. We're doing a different multi-chat. It's called Caster Labs. But so far so good. I'm hoping YouTube chats appear. And it looks like everything's showing up.
Hi.
Hi. Garnican says if you become an affiliate, I would subscribe to get rid of them. Game session could get in trouble, players get stuck in a 30-second ad. That is a very good point. It's almost incentivizing people to subscribe, but I think that's very scummy. Voice and change voice. Ooh, thank you. I was testing that before the stream. Okay, I should have muted it. Should be good now. All right, so what do we want to do today? in theory, I was probably going to do more back-end testing. Like as Garnick pointed out, I was testing shop implementations. I'm unsure how much would be revealed that could be considered sensitive data. So I'll probably stop doing the shop alerts and do those offline. I do want to show off something I set up last night. So let's put that up on screen. So last night I built a rogue-like map. And this is probably what we'll be working on today and just like fleshing it out. So this rogue-like map will appear on screen. Or not. Or not. Damn. Where is it? So it looks like my Firefox is having a hard time. Huh. Is it... Well, this is the map, so you guys can at least look at it. But the idea is, I set up an action that allows us to do our voting quiz using this map. Please wait to open the shop at least one more day. You're too kind, Garnican, and I appreciate you saying that. I think this entire week has been me just preparing for a potential future where I can make this a full-time job. That is going to be what you just asked about. The timer is for a subathon. So I'm hoping to kickstart everything with a subathon, where it's kind of like I play Dungeons and Dragons for 12 hours straight. What could go wrong, right? Garnigan, first of all, I need you to focus your presence on yourself. You know, all of your money and promises and saying like payday and all that. It's very flattering, but, you know, it's all about maintaining the lifestyle you have. And I don't know your personal life, but for you to say things like that is very kind. But please don't spend money you don't have, is what I'm trying to say. Don't spend money you don't have, especially on me. Don't make it rain on me. Okay, I need more relaxing music here. But yeah, this map here, just clicking through it, you can pick paths, and then you end up at the end, and then we would reset. So I'm still testing it to see like, oh, maybe this might be too many things for you know, one adventure. So if I took this path, this is basically one combat, one, you know, roleplay event, then we pick up treasure chest, and that's just going to be like a roguelike event where it's we pick one of 3 buffs, I guess, and then another combat, and then we rest to full, and then we fight the boss. But yeah, I was working on that yesterday, and it's essentially a game that other people can play. I did not build the template, and I want to say that now and get in the habit of saying it. Someone built it like 4 years ago and shared the code online. So I just like customized it. All right, let's get some fantasy music. But yeah, I don't know why my macro wasn't working. Okay, let's try turning the macro on and off. Okay. So it's this macro that's not working right now, as far as I can tell. Yeah, I see my numbers appearing on screen. So I need this filtered to be using the original. Music's a little high. Okay, thank you. Can adjust. But yeah, Garnican, I've known you for so long, and the fact that you're here now when I basically took how many months off from being a creator and you're still willing to support me, that it speaks volumes. And the fact that you're also offering cash incentive for being my friend, like, I don't know what to say. It's very kind of you. I'm hoping I can create a show where people aren't feeling obligated to support me financially, but rather are enjoying themselves so much to where they want to, you know, support the content creating, not just the content creator, I guess you could say. Okay, so we had our Firefox scene, and I want to turn them on and off. So we're basically turning Firefox off. And then I have another version. Okay, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Hopefully this works though. Okay, now it's off. So yes, it does work. Okay, now we're pasting the same macro, but in reverse. So this was not working, this bar rater OBS tools. Very complicated, very complex. Is what it is. So now I should be able to. So here's how this would play out. Let me just give you an idea of how we would put this up on screen. So I would basically push this button and the map would appear on screen. And then I have these frames, which, let me lock this so I don't click things I shouldn't, that I would move into place. And we have three choices. So I put all three frames into place, and then we would do a vote. So this would be poll 3. Yeah, I might try to hide those a little bit better. Yep, and so then we vote. And so the poll should move. And I get 2 votes because I have Twitch and YouTube open. Ah, it's rigged. Hey, Antonio, how's it going? But we can see the voting finishes, and then Dorkbot announces, way to go, chat, you voted for number 2. And then that way, we would start down this path. And so I would click that, and then we would do the dungeon. So I would remove all those things off the screen. And so ideally, you're not going to see me doing all this, where I'm like picking windows and stuff. That's going to be hidden. So let me actually put the window that hides that up on screen. Oh great, some errors. How's your day going, Antonio? So this is going to be basically the view you guys get. It's like the party perspective. Like when I do not have party perspective on, like you're seeing what I as the dungeon master am seeing. So this is going to keep it simple, keep it simplified. So just to go through the motions again, we would defeat the dungeon, and then we would pull up the map again. Let's see, I'll probably move it a little bit. All right, so on the new map, I would move into place if we had choices. So right now we don't have any choices. So it's basically like I'm consulting the map. And it's like, all right, guys, we're going to dungeon number 2. I hope you're ready. All right. And then probably on this page, I would do another, all right, who wants to play? We're going to open up the entry form. And so the keyword would be, I think D20 is still the default.
D20.
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 All right, so Garnikin and Antonio have joined into the queue. So in theory, and this might be a good incentive, some people will be watching on Twitch and YouTube, and that would give them double the chances to enter. Which I'm totally cool with. I think that's actually a fun way to incentivize people to help me in my viewer numbers, you know? All right, great. So you guys have been picked as players. So now you pick your characters. And so same situation here. You do Artificer, Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. We also have Gunslinger and Bloodhunter, and it's the next thing you type. So for me, I typed Gunslinger.
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 Garnikin's a wizard. Oh yeah, I wanted to check the wizard. The stream settings. The YouTubers said it was a little bit too slow. And I think I can adjust the latency. Oh, I can't adjust it while we're live. Okay. I won't show my screen, but basically I'm not allowed to adjust the latency while we are waiting.
Druid.
Druid. So unfortunately, I did set a timer for the class picking. I don't know if I need to set a timer, to be honest. But in theory, we would just do that after the fact if, you know, someone is too slow for that timer. So I would do player 2 class Druid. And so that gives Antonio the Druid character there. And then we would continue down our dungeon, which it appears as though it freezes if I don't have it on the main screen. Interesting. But yeah, we would close down the map. And then you guys would be adventuring. You would say funny things, as one does when they're feeling anxious to be streaming. And then we would pull up the map again. And this time we have 2 choices. So I'd put those 2 markers up on screen. And then I would do pull 2. See if this works. And then you can vote. And this would be my opportunity to, you know, get up, stretch, take a break. I'll probably increase the voting time. And so when it's a tie, it's supposed to pick one randomly. And yeah, I can tell that voting will definitely want it at around a minute instead of 30 seconds. But it's good to know. So then we close down that, and then we adventure some more. Yeah, da 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 la 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 la. So what I might be setting up today is we'll probably disable the player view, and that way you guys can see behind the screen, I guess. And then I wanted to create kind of like talking with NPCs, like focusing on non-combat as a way to interact as your character. So with you guys here hanging out, feel free to excuse yourselves, say goodbye, or, dip if you have to. But you are welcome to use the text-to-speak, so just like chatting away. I was trying to... There's so many buttons to push, and a lot of things are missing right now. Voice test.
Voice test.
Also, the chat appears to have broken. When I say chat, I'm talking about the text chat. So basically the roll log. You can see it on the right side of the screen here. It's currently empty. Doesn't appear to be working. Okay, we'll try logging in again. So these are the types of things I should basically have working before I go live. I swear, I'm always getting a call. Alright, I'll be right back. All right, we're back. One second. I think I was using the wrong microphone. This should help with noise reduction. So hopefully you're not hearing stuff in the background. But yeah, looks like my stream chat is going to be broken for now, and that's fine because we're just testing other things. But I need to have like a checklist. So that's something I'm going to put up on screen. All right. But thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for visiting. Okay, so stream checklist. So OBS interact screen for players.
Ending already.
Up and running. No, sir. Basically, my dad wanted to make plans for dinner and talk about his business. I've been helping his business for me to make ends meet while building this brand. I'm not going to vent about it, but he doesn't really believe in my abilities. But like, not in a bad way. It's more like I've been spending all this time and I don't have a proof that what I'm doing is working. So that it's kind of a motivator in a way. Okay, OBS, D&D, roles on screen. Dungeons and Dragons! What's up, channel? Welcome in. Kind of working on some things today, but channel, this is what I made yesterday. Kind of like an interactive map. And so we as a group would be picking each one of these as we go. Now the fires, the campfires, those probably don't need to be chosen. And then we would have a boss battle. So if we took this particular route, we would have combat on the left, combat right here, so 2 combats. Then we would find treasure, then we would find treasure. Then we would rest to full, and then we would fight the battle, the boss battle. So I would say we would change characters. So we'd have 1 group of chatters, then we'd have 2 groups of a second group of chatters. And then we would probably pick somewhere in between these 2 chests. Then we would rest, and then so basically a third group of chatters would be fighting the boss. So that's the idea. Oh, okay. And yeah, I was looking into why YouTube is a bit delayed, and I just have to do that while I'm not streaming. So that'll be another test, I guess, a stream checklist note. YouTube chat, reduce latency. But yeah, today probably won't be playing too much. Have you fixed some of the bugs? I think so. And here, because not a lot of people are here, the channel, you are welcome to have my spot as a character. Yo, what's up, Disciple? I told Disciple when he visited that we would do like a little practice run. So I think this might be a good test. Alright, we're going to reset players. And those of you that are willing to play, type in D20. And we'll actually do a quick run through. Should be fun. Now, a lot of what you'll see on screen is not what you'll experience next week when I have everything prototype working. But we're going to do a fun little experiment here. So like right now you're seeing behind the scenes, and that's okay. Oh, Game Dizzy's here. What's up, dude? All right, so we've got enough people in the queue, and it's also registering people on YouTube as well as Twitch. So we can see here the channel's in the queue, Garnican's in the queue, Antonio's in the queue, Game Dizzy's in the queue, Disciple's in the queue. I'm also automatically put in the queue, but if I win, I will reset it. So for example, I just won player 1 spot. So I'll just pick another player 1. So now, Disciple, you are currently player 1. Got player 2 is Garnican. And player 3 is Antonio. And so Antonio's on YouTube.
I'm a winner.
Rigged!
I am winner.
Alright, so now you guys can pick your class. So next word you type is going to be your class. So you would just type one word. So if you want to be a rogue or a sorcerer, you would just type rogue. And you have 60 seconds to do that. I'll probably remove that timer though. It's not necessary.
Cleric.
And so it's only the people that were playing or that were picked as players. So we have a druid, a cleric, paladin, a cleric, and a fighter. So then I would go from my collection here, so this is all pre-made, and
Cider.
grab those characters. So we had player 1 character, player 2 character, And then our fighter, player 3. So I'll go ahead and add you guys to our turn tracker. And just to keep things simple, we'll roll your position in combat. And so we'll just do a little test combat, just for fun. Not sure why we have 2 clerics. Now sadly... Oh, it looks like our dice rolling is appearing on screen. So it's registering and telling the chat who rolled what. Now it's not saying which character rolled those, so I'm going to see if I can look into that, but interesting nonetheless. And so the 3 of you find your way through a deep and dark cave. You've heard rumors of some sort of vile monster that has been stealing away the kids from the local town. And it's unfortunate that you find your way to the end of this cave, only to see this large beast, half man, half beast, a yeti of legend, feasting on the bones of what you can only presume to be the missing children.
I must save the children.
You notice one child in the corner, just hiding amongst the rubble, holding his breath. Here, we'll even put a little kid there. That doesn't look like a kid, but nonetheless, they're hiding. They need your help. And so the Yeti turns around. And combat has begun. So our cleric, you're the first to act. What would you like to do? And I'll change the music up. This was our dungeon map. So right now you guys are in the dungeon. So if you've ever played like a roguelike, that's the kind of feeling I'm going for.
I cast Hand of Radiance.
Hand of Radiance! What does that do? Tell us what it does, Garnican. Because I actually don't know. I mean, for everyone here that's watching, what does it do?
Prepare yourself,
I know.
beast.
Beast? Oh, and see, this is the part where I might have like a cool Yeti voice.
Burns the
Okay.
enemy.
Burns the enemy. Oh, thank you, Garnican, for the text there. And so he'll make a Constitution saving throw to try and save from the damage as holy light begins to run up its flesh. It quickly goes to pat it out, try to prevent the burning sensation. So we'll do a saving throw for the Yeti. And he fails, dealing 1d6 damage. As its hair begins to get singed off, it immediately drops what feast it had in its hands, turns and begins to charge towards you. Why? It hurt! It hurts! And so next in the combat is our fighter, player 3. Antonio, what would you like to do? Did you guys hear the voice? Just curious. Looks like it might have broken. So Antonio, it's your turn. You're a fighter. You have a longsword, a greatsword, and a crossbow. Those are your options. Thanks, channel.
What can I
you
do?
Yeah, you have your long sword, and by using the long sword, you get to keep your shield equipped. Or you can switch to the great sword on your back as a fighter, and your great sword deals more damage.
Crossbow.
Or if you, okay, playing it safe, our fighter positions himself a little bit closer, takes a shot at the Yeti. So we target him, and with your shield still equipped, you fire a crossbow at the Yeti. 4 points of damage. Now, as a fighter, you're stronger, so your melee does more damage, but this is a ranged option, which uses your dexterity. So the Yeti at this point charges towards you, fighter, as you were the last to hit it, and he'll go for a clawing strike at you. Oh, and he strikes true for 8 points of damage as he rings you across the chest and pulls you up and smashes you against the wall. All right, it's now our paladin's turn. What would you like to do? Uh-oh. Uh-oh is right.
Aho.
So our paladin, you two have a longsword and a greatsword. We're currently level 1, so you don't really have any spells. You have lay on hands for emergencies, which is 5 points of healing. You can also sense undead, which would be kind of useless in this situation. So Disciple, it is your turn. What would you like to do? Oh, okay.
I cast a lay on hand spell on Antonio and taunt the monster by attacking him.
Alright, so unfortunately both of those are actions, so you can either attack or you can use lay on hands, both of which would get his attention. So you can do one of the two. You can lay on hands or attack. Attack! So placing yourself in between.
A-D-T-A-C-K-K-K-K-K.
Yes, A-T-A-A-C-A-K-A. Exactly. So you unsheath your longsword and strike by stabbing it in the gut. It rears back in pain, and it pulls the sword out, clearly stronger than you.
I shall destroy the monster with divine justice.
I love that voice. That's perfect. All right, our cleric, it's now back to you. The Yeti is spilling blood, but it's in a furious rage. You can see now that it's gone past this point of no return, it's starting to grow furious. Its damage has increased.
I would like spend my turn to prepare the spell command. If the monster attacks anyone again, I will yell grovel to stun it.
Ooh, very strategic. So the cleric pulls out her holy symbol, and as it begins to manifest arcane and divine magic around it, you can see the cleric is waiting patiently for the Yeti to strike. All right, fighter, it's now your turn. Your crossbow's still at the ready. You cock another bolt. However, you do still have your greatsword and your sword. So Antonio, it is your turn. You also have Second Wind, which would allow you to regain some health points. So it's during moments like these where there's a little bit of downtime. I kind of need to embrace this kind of like silent moment and use it to prep more. This is
Fighter,
just me thinking out loud. Are you with us? The paladin turns around and shouts
I will
at
use
his
Second
comrade.
Wind.
Second Wind. Taking a deep breath. And this is a bonus action, so you can still attack. You find the invigorating energy of adrenaline pour through your veins. Your wounds don't feel like they're there. You're ready to continue. 6 points of healing. You can still attack if you'd like, Antonio. So the health of the Yeti, Game Dizzy, you do not necessarily get to see. However, I like that you're interested in it. That tells me maybe I should allow you to see it. But I'm on the fence about it. Is there a link to see the game on your own screen? That is not something I think I'll be doing. I kind of want to keep it simple to where, you know, providing that sort of sensitive information, like a link, for example, might be a bad idea. But the fighter knocks another arrow, sends out the crossbow bolt. The Yeti just swats it out of the air. It's now the Yeti's turn. And as it rears back, it's pounding fists. And it goes for a double-handed slam onto our paladin. And so at that point, the cleric allows the command spell to take effect.
Grovel!
So, grovel, she shouts. And the Yeti, rolls a natural 20 on their saving throw. And so for a brief moment, it hesitates, but then it continues with the sheer force of will, slamming down into the paladin. 19 to hit for 11 points of damage. Our paladin is down to 1 health point. It shouts with like dumbfounded amusement, and it just batters your body against the ground floor. It's now your turn, paladin. You're barely standing. 1 health point remaining. What would you like to do, paladin?
Are you sure, paladin?
He jumped in the way for you, Antonio. Would you do the same for him?
I am nearer to the gods than ever. I can feel them with me now.
So you can see the dice rolling on screen. The way I have it set up is that every time you type, it's rolling a d20. Usually it would say it in chat.
I attack with all of my might. Divine Smash.
Divine Smash. You rear back with another great longsword attack. 18 to hit, that's enough. And you deal 6 points of slashing damage. It's back to you, cleric. What would you like to do? Your spell unfortunately failed this last round. Cast Cure Wounds. So you take a step forward, placing a hand on your
Cast Cure
ally.
Wounds on the paladin.
You cast Cure Wounds. So that's 7 points of healing. Your paladin is emboldened. Might be enough to keep him alive. Fighter, it comes back to you. Now you have your sword and your great sword, fighter, if you'd like to use them. This is Antonio's turn.
I will use my greatsword to cut into the Yeti's side.
So our fighter drops their crossbow and shield and rushes forward, unsheathing the greatsword strapped to their back.
Take this.
With a spinning slash, they try to chop into the Yeti, who catches it with its bare hands, and it just roars in defiance. It turns towards you, fighter. And it rears back with a solemn strike. But you're too close to him, so he can't target you. So he moves back like a couple inches. And now he'll strike you. But you position your greatsword to catch the brunt of his claws. And you see bone clashing against steel, sparking the cave. The civilian in the corner cowers in fear. Paladin, it comes back to you.
The gods are with you as my brothers.
My brothers. Divine strike.
Divine strike.
So he leaps and does a really cool front flip as he comes down with a strike with his longsword. 6 points of damage. The Yeti furls over, down.
Our battle will be legendary.
However, barely alive. Cleric, it comes to you.
Finish him.
I cast Inflict Wounds on the beast.
So the cleric pushes past the paladin. Past
In
the
the
fighter.
name of all that is holy.
The cleric pulls out their spellbook, tabs to a page, remembers that they're level 1 and doesn't have that spell, but it's okay because it's funny and kind of cool. And they just kind of like pray for a second and they gain back a spell slot because we'll pretend like they still had it. And then they use Inflict Wounds, touching the Yeti. You watch as its flesh begins to peel away. A natural 20 for 35
All right, another
points
hand
of
of
damage.
radiation.
I wanted
The
to see how
gods
long
are
that would
with
take
you,
me.
S.
We're good though. It worked. With Inflict Wounds, you watch as its flesh begin to corrode away as charring holy light. Much like how you would see an infection spread, instead you see the burning radiance of light just kind of dissolve its flesh. And it looks fearful at a point, but then you see its eyes kind of glaze over, and you see a smile begin to clear its face. It is no more. Combat has ended. Oh, thank you, my saviors!
Give me the loot.
Ah, yes, here's all my wealth. I would not be alive if it hadn't
The
been
church
for you all.
needs its tithe.
I know I look very evil and menacingly, but that's just because I'm rich and powerful. So here, take all my money, because it's yours now, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not blood money. Like, I didn't get it through nefarious means. It was tracked, and it's yours now. So take it, and I will leave peacefully, with my life intact. The Yeti was definitely not a good guy. But me, I am a good guy. As you can see,
Thank you for the money, sir.
Yes, you're welcome. It was a pleasure. Not doing anything nefarious for that specific money.
The church appreciates your contribution.
I think that's like the Rocket Raccoon voice. It's making me giggle. But yeah, you all won D&D. Congratulations. And you let the bad guy, I mean, the civilian, get away. They definitely won't become the big bad boss.
Thank you, F Dork.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, Garnican actually died the last time we did a little practice run.
Yeah, I didn't die this time.
Alright, so the way this would proceed is to keep things simple. I would say, like,
G
alright,
to
guys.
GGLHF Till.
Thank you, Disciple. So then we would reset, and I would pull up the map. And we would see, oh, look! We have another dungeon to delve through. And it's supposed to be that simple, where it's like you find your way into the corner of a cave, or like some sort of tomb, or it's even the next room in the tomb. And the next group of players would get their chance at Destiny. Although I think we would play as the same classes. It's hard to say. So Garnican, you wouldn't let him get away after evil laughter. I mean, some people have a naturally evil laughter, though. But let's say I'll skip ahead a little bit, and we get to this option. So then we would have two paths that we could take, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of variance here. Like if I go up, it's a rest site right after. If I go forward, it's a rest site right after. But the idea here is that we would have two choices, and then we would do a poll. And so now you guys could vote. And then at the end of 30 to 60 seconds, we would continue. So I do think I want more variance, especially with these rest sites. So right now they're defaulted to always be rest sites. So maybe I'll make them just as random. And we didn't get any shops. Like, so for this example, and this is what I'll probably be working on for the rest of the stream, is making scene actors. So that's what they're called, scene actors. All right, this music's too epic. But let's say you come to a shop. And so at the shop, we would have our merchants. So I haven't picked the merchant like characters yet. Let's say, for example, you had like, you could go to the blacksmith, or you could go to the apothecary or alchemist, and then there's like an enchanter or a witch. And so I'll be using this type of portrait to kind of represent them. Or we might have like an actual character portrait, much like our player characters. So like I could put the player characters in there, for example. So you as a player would only see this in the middle. And so you can like focus them. So it's like, oh, we're going to visit the alchemist. So this is who we're talking to right now. And then me behind the scenes, I'd be like, okay, so now you're going to visit the witch. And then what I could also do is have it to where there's like options. So this will be another kind of voting sequence. So it's like, oh, you can have the blue chest, the green chest, or the purple chest. What do you pick? And then you all would be like voting. So I could just put that on screen real quick. So it's like, oh, do you want chest number 1, chest number 2, chest number 3? So I'll be like, oh, chest number 3 is winning, which that actually made it center, so I probably won't click it. So that kind of like ruined the order there. We are 3, just give us 1 each. Well, it's supposed to be like a loot box, Garnican. And thank you, Antonio and Channel. I noticed there is a bit of a delay for YouTube, so I'll be sure to fix that. And so basically we'd be like, all right, what's in chest number 3? And I'll probably already pick something. But one thing I can do is roll from a table. And so what this does is it picks randomly a disguise kit. And so what I could do, and I appreciate any opinions or like ideas you guys want to share, but it's like I'll probably roll it 3 times. And so we might say, all right, in your chest, you have a disguise kit in chest number 1. And so maybe finding a way to put that on screen would be nice. And then in chest number 2, you found a chess set. And then in chest number 3, you found a lyre. But that's just an example. And of course, we might do more magical items. And then after every combat, so after that combat, you all would have gotten like a reward in the form of loot. So loot's going to be more simple. And I'll probably do like a roll. Like I would do like a d20 roll. And if you ever get a 20, I would give you an unidentified magic object. Otherwise, you're getting gold. So let's say you got like 3 gold pieces, and then you also found some scrap metal. The rare occasion, you might also get a potion or some arcane essence. So the idea I have with scrap metal would be when you go to town, the blacksmith could basically give you padded armor, like make your armor a little bit stronger. And this is supposed to be a roguelike, so everything resets. This is not real D&D. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We're playing like a roguelike version of D&D. Real D&D is going to be a lot more intricate and immersive. You guys would probably be talking with each other more often. I would be doing more storytelling. See you later, channel. Thanks for stopping in. Can't wait for next week. So if you ever swing back around next week, it'll probably be in full swing. Garnigan says, I think I prefer choose one of the following than choosing blind. Ah, yes. Even if the loot from that is smaller? Okay. I do like that. And I want to put it on screen somehow. So this is the player view. So it's kind of hard to say how I can reveal that information. So let's see what I can do about that. What happens if I share this? So there's an import button. Better a common item I know than a rare item none of us have use for. Interesting. Yeah, I do believe picking something is definitely more interesting. So perhaps the icon might be more representative. So for example, I would put the icon as like a potion, for example. So let me try setting that up. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, so I'll do a potion. And I can even add currency, which might be interesting. Like, it might sweeten the deal. It's like, oh, you can get a potion and 3 gold, or you can get a battle axe +1. Open the sheets. Do modify paste. Could be in the chest you find X, vote who should have it. I like that. That's a good thought. No, I don't think you're rambling, Garnican. I appreciate the insight. Because you're the player, so it's like I'm thinking about this in a way that might be fair for everyone. But I think if you're playing a character, you know, making it more roleplay specific would be helpful as well. See, is this gonna work? We can upload, we can use a URL or a token image. Okay. All right, well, we can see what that looks like, I guess. It should update this picture here. Okay, and then I would probably change the name of it as well. So it'd be like Dagger of Venom. But I also kind of want it to be like, oh, what are the stats of the Dagger of Venom? So this is what it would look like for a player. It's like, oh, I could pick this, or I could pick number 2. But I also don't want them to be so large. So in the chest, you find an X. So you vote to who should have it. And winning based on charisma might be interesting. And yeah, see, Garnican, that really fits the roleplay style of Dungeons & Dragons. Like, that is how you play Dungeons & Dragons. I'm trying to streamline it to where it's like you, as a party of 3, are using 1 brain cell each, aka 1 chatter, And so perhaps each of you three maybe get your own loot. Like, for example, that actually would make a little bit more sense, where it's like you complete a battle, and it's like if you're an artificer, there's like a wrench upgrade. If you're a barbarian, there's also an axe upgrade. And if you're a cleric, oh look, there's a free healing spell that you didn't know, so now you know a new spell. So opening the chest, we might see that there's an automatic 3 upgrades. So that's an interesting concept. But again, like we're deviating from Dungeons and Dragons. Which, I mean, I'm into it. Like, I like the idea. The only problem is it's like it's not Dungeons and Dragons at that point. And the one thing I don't want to do is tell people they can't do something. So for you, Garnikin, for example, it was a good idea of you casting Inflict Wounds. Like, I thought that was a well-rounded choice. However, I didn't have that on your character. And I wasn't about to say, oh, you don't know that spell. But at the same time, if you're someone who's never played Dungeons and Dragons before, how do you know what you can and can't do? But see, like, you did your research, so you knew that's a spell that clerics can cast. So these are the types of things I'm trying to flesh out and try and simplify. But I do like the idea of randomizing loot. It's tough. But see, Garnikin, you're playing by the rules, which is very wise. It's like you're essentially suggesting things that are in the realm of possibilities that I didn't set up, but I'm totally okay with you doing. It's kind of like I knew what you wanted to do. There was a threshold, like for example, we're level 1. You can only cast 2 big spells at level 1. So that's one of the core mechanics of spell casting in Dungeons & Dragons, is you can cast 2 big spells, and then you have what are called cantrips, which you can cast an infinite amount of times. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a lot more thought, for sure. But I really love the concept of roguelikes in Dungeons & Dragons. So I'm trying to make that work. And I might be forcing it a little bit. But yeah, thank you, Garnikin, for your feedback, your input. And thanks those of you on YouTube watching, Twitch watching. We might end it today. This was a good test run. I might do some like quiet work, I don't know. I don't necessarily have any plans to play another round, I guess you could say. So I think it's best to just end it right now. That way I can work on some more sensitive stuff anyway. But yeah, I think next week I'm going to try streaming for an extended amount of time. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you later. Thank you, Garnikin. I should be paying you, Garnikin, honestly.